Sorry for the dramatic intro. I'm working on some future projects and needed to test some things out. Free Comic Book Day 2021 had a special feel to it. I'm sure we all remember Free Comic Book Day 2020. Yeah, there wasn't one. That's why most shops this year were also giving out the 2020 comics as well. Free Comic Book Day is always a fun event. Most local shops here have local artists, food, and other events. It's almost like a teeny tiny slice of a convention, like visiting a single booth of a Comic-Con. It's pretty special if you ask me. I always enjoy Free Comic Book Day, going out to the shops around town, hanging out, seeing your fellow comic book nerds. It's just a fun time. Free Comic Book Day 2021, let us get back to normal with the shadow of the Delta variant hanging over winter-fall convention possibilities. I'm really hoping they still happen. Who knows? I spent Free Comic Book Day 2021 at I Want More Comics in Denver, Colorado. They're my local comic shop where I keep my hold slot. Sean, Keith, Todd, Richie, and the gang. They're all great guys and gals who go the extra mile to make sure you're well taken care of. I also visited Mile High Comics, which I'll always have a soft spot for. I worked there through college. Chuck treated me great, and I've never had a better job than working there. There was nothing funner than working at Mile High Comics. Unfortunately, picking comic book orders doesn't pay as well as a professional career. First up, I headed over to I Want More Comics. They had a great spread with food trucks, guests, and more. They're offering a rebate program that offered 10% back in gift cards on any and all purchases. For Hold Slot members, this deal actually started as early as the Wednesday prior in the week. Pretty cool for a regular like me who will spend at least $80 on just new comics each week alone. Outside of the store, they have displays from members of the Geek Garage, where the best geek-themed vehicles live. I didn't make up that slogan because I wouldn't be smart enough to. These ladies and gents are dedicated to customizing automobiles in true pop culture fashion. There was the Colorado Black Beauty. This is the rolling arsenal of the Green Hornet. This version was a customized 2006 300C SRT-8, complete with a functional drone. The up-close details of bullet holes, custom logo, and green LED ringed lights were amazing in person. The machine guns and missiles, unfortunately, were non-functional for now. Next up was Wasabi's car from Big Hero 6. The car in the movie isn't a real car, but the owner found an excellent near likeness in a Toyota Yaris. This is actually her day-to-day vehicle, which makes the dedication even more impressive. The 6-foot plush Baymax was the perfect touch. The Jurassic Park Jeep was true to the movie. It also had sound and music effects. Of all the cars, it was the most true to film. That's not meant as a disrespect to the other vehicles at all. I love artistic interpretation. As an adult who was a teenager when Jurassic Park dropped, seeing what is essentially a replica of the actual vehicles in the movies was amazing though, up close. The last two cars were pretty cool in their own right. I didn't get a chance to talk to the owners, but was told that they're a husband and wife team. They own a Batman and Wonder Woman inspired duo of cars. The Batmobile is a Corvette C7 Stingray. Apparently the C7 and C8 have less badging to deal with, so removing and replacing those items on the C7 is easier than previous iterations. The Batmobile sports numerous intricate details, including custom 3D printed logos that exquisitely cover where the original Corvette badges sit. The car also talked, responded to visitors, similar to Kit from Knight Rider fame, if you're old enough to remember that. The last car was my favorite. I'm biased as a huge Wonder Woman fan. The Wonder Woman inspired Mini Cooper was immaculate. The details throughout were fantastic. The designs on the seat, steering wheel, emblems, and hood were all so very well done. To see more of each of these vehicles, head on over to geek-garage.com or check the links below. Back to Free Comic Book Day. The shop was hopping inside, comic fans milled about. It felt good to see the comic shops thriving again. It's been a long year, and I know the shop owners themselves have been waiting for things to turn around, and it's just great to see a comic shop full of people just enjoying comics. We stopped by my favorite part of the shop, the life-sized Harley statue. I've asked Keith to buy it a couple times. I think it runs a little over $5,000. He's refused me every time. If he ever said yes, I don't know what I'd tell my wife, because I would buy it and then I'd have to figure out how to explain it. The free comics were set up on back tables. Hold Slot members like myself had any comics related to a series we were subscribed to pulled and waiting for us in our Hold Slot itself. I do have to give some great kudos to I Want More Comics here. They've always done this for me and they do it so very well. I remember a few months ago, I cut all of my X-Men subscriptions, and then the next week the issue dropped where Scarlet Witch died. It started spiking in price. They totally could have just moved on with life, but knowing that I had just cut those subscriptions, they still pulled one for me so that I could purchase it at cover price. Just a great example of customer service, and one of the reasons why I really love this shop. But back to Free Comic Book Day. Free Comic Book Day has color coding on their books if you weren't aware. Green is all ages, blue is teen, and red is mature. After selecting my 5 comics that were allowed, my wife's 3 that she totally picked herself, and 3 for my son, who really did pick them unfortunately, I went to browse the aisles. I love the mini displayed comics at I Want More Comics. Frequently these items show up on their stream sale, which is on Wednesdays, at a reduced price. It's one of my favorite places to snipe raw books, particularly books I either want to flip or want for my personal collection. I think I've purchased X-Men 141 from them 2 or 3 times at this point. I have purchased Something Is Killing the Children from their stream sale at least twice. It's a great deal. I find deals there all the time. I would also give them kudos for their grading. I've never had a very fine from them, grade below a 9.2 to 9.4, and many of them up to a 9.8. On the way out, they let me and Chris drool over 2 beautiful books they had just gotten back from CGC. At the time of this video, I believe they're still available for purchase. I picked up from my purchases for the day and headed over to Mile High Comics. Mile High Comics is huge. It occupies a massive warehouse. Chuck's huge banners make the place easy to find. To decrease traffic, Mile High opened one of the large bay doors and had all of their free comics there. Large boards showed each comic with a number attached to it, making it easy to shop for the free comics you wanted. You picked the 4 to 5 numbers you were allowed, they pulled those numbers for you, you had your comics. Everything went smooth and easy. They had free water and soda provided for guests. A nearby brewery was also doing related drink specials. Pretty cool. I didn't have time to go get a beer. I wish I did. I made a quick trip inside to see some old friends and take some quick footage for you guys. Again, we'll be doing a probably multi-part special on Mile High in the future. For some of us, we can remember the old Mile High ads, as well as the covers of the books in the 80s. Avengers featuring the Hulk. It was a pretty good preview, actually. I think I really am gonna pick up this book. I want to see what happens in this key image here with these Masters of Evil that are featured here. What's going to go on through this timeline. I like these deathlocks protecting the timeline too. It's a really interesting use of the character. X-Men, that was alright. Batman gives you a preview of Fear State and I Am Batman. I didn't have time to do my picks for this week, but I did pick up the new Batman book. Not a huge fan of this art style. I'm not a fan of it, actually, at all. I don't really want to talk poorly of someone else's work, so I don't want to belabor the point. I don't know if I can continue buying Batman with that art in the book, though. Under the House of Slaughter, got 2 copies from 2 different stores. Not a lot to say here. Tinian de Ladera, the best book on the market today. Mighty Nine, haven't had a chance to read it. Really liked the cover when I saw it. Picked it up for that. High Republic Edge of Balance is actually a manga style book. Looking to get more into that and see what it's like. I should have known because it has Viz up here in the corner, right? For those who don't know, that's a huge manga publisher, Viz. Lady Mechanica, I got both the 2020 version and the 2021. The really interesting thing with this is they redid the book for this year. And what I mean by that is, when you look at some of the lettering here, and then the lettering here, they changed it. They changed a few other things around in the book, so they are different. I haven't really gotten into this character really because I know how many variants there are and how much I would end up spending. I've been tempted multiple times to get into Lady Mechanica, and this may be what pushes me over the edge. The zero issue, just flipping through it, I really like what I see in the art and the story. Street Fighter, picked this up mostly. It was a little bit of down memory lane. I remember seeing Udon Studios when they first came out doing Transformers and other things. Seeing them still around doing things with Street Fighter is pretty cool. And the Red Room. Not sure what to think. Someone told me I should pick it up if I'm getting something that's killing the children. It does have this classic Fisker art. I'll have to see if the story's worth it though. And those are my picks for Free Comic Book Day. Hopefully everyone went out, supported their local comic shops, took a look at some great free comics. What more could you want? What happens when you get a media pass?
Yeah.